we have gathered here to listen to our own stars. So looking at this Saturday evening, I feel once in a while even regular meetings can be kept on Saturday evening. Wonderful, everybody is more relaxed, and I understand it may not be possible all the time, but otherwise I think occasionally such meetings are more than welcome. Before we go on to today's discussion and topic, I would like to invite my star bestmen, star speakers on the dais this side, Dr. Sarita, Bhalerao, Dr. Raksha, Mangaldas, Dr. Anil, Mehta, Dr. Yogesh, Shah, Dr. Kamlesh, Shah, Dr. Snehal, Sanghavi. At the outset, I must thank President Meena, Uday, Abhay for helping me in planning this event today evening. The very purpose of keeping such meetings, sometimes you feel that so many medical things are happening just because the president is a doctor. But friends, this idea was with me when Pune was there. We didn't have enough time because there was some commitment after Bombay, so we could not fulfill this. And this is, though the doctors are talking, but there will be much more than medical and non-medical aspect of how to live a life. All of us have realized that what problems and what anxiety and what stress we underwent during the 2.5 years. Today evening, in such meetings looked more relaxing because we had a tough time for 2.5 years and we couldn't meet, we couldn't smile. We all realized that how small we are, isn't it? How small we are in front of the small virus. कुछ वकालत नहीं चलती जमीन वालों की, कुछ वकालत नहीं चलती जमीन वालों की जब फैसला आसमान से उतरता है. So this virus is the way in which the distribution subclasses the कोणाचे एक लाईन हातात द्या ना सगळं पुढे जाईल. Okay. So it was a time probably we could smile and people were so tense. If you remember that time एक सवेरा था जब हंस कर उठते थे हम. एक सवेरा था जब हंस कर उठते थे हम, और आज कई बार बिना मुस्कुराए ही शाम हो जाती है. And that was the feeling we had. And all of us were more relaxed because one of the reasons we had doctors standing next to us. Slight unwell, and you tell doctor, and he said, don't worry, it will be okay, nothing serious. And we keep in touch with the doctors and how doctors kept on being okay. So there are two things which gave us strength, which gave us courage, and which gave us a security. Was one is the medical aspect of a doctor, and the second thing, the love, the bond with the family and the friends. I think that is why we were secure, and of course we realized it was very important to spend time with our own member and not with WhatsApp. अगर प्रेम चाहिए तो समर्पण खर्च करना होगा. प्रेम चाहिए तो समर्पण खर्च करना होगा. विश्वास चाहिए तो निष्ठा खर्च करनी होगी. और साथ चाहिए तो समर्पण खर्च करना होगा. You have to spend a time, and we realized that it was so important. It made us so thickly bonded, and I think we became very close to our friends and family members thanks to Corona. One of the benefits of a COVID and Corona aspect. Not that we are going to spend a lot of time. We are going to spend enough time to give you enough information. But we are going to have enough time at the end of the event for your questions and queries or discussion. So we have a today galaxy of experts. Everybody will speak one after the another. We have opening batsman, none other than Dr. Anil Mehta, a family physician, senior family physician, very hardworking, above all, always smiling and ready to help. Please welcome Dr. Anil Mehta.
Hello. Thank you with your kind words, Pankaj bhai. And good to be an opening batsman always. So when Pankaj bhai came up with this idea of we speak to you as representing a cross-section of the society, or we may consider all of us are one or the other time we were patients, or we are going to be patients any time in life. This is a nice dialogue, guys. So what should I do? When he said that you should speak, it should be little hilarious, etc. I think this is an opportunity I am getting it. So I want to start the talk today with doctor-patient relationship. Why it is so important? It is the most powerful relationship in today's scenario, or maybe from centuries. This is the most important relationship we have. To start it, I have few questions I had. That have you ever wondered what makes the doctor-patient relationship so powerful and so important? Have you ever considered what you could do to strengthen it or prevent it from crumbling? Have you ever thought about the consequences of a very unsatisfactory relationship? Before I go and answer these questions, I thought that I will, when we were talking about this, that we are going to speak something, and Pankaj bhai had given this idea. There were two simultaneous patients' cases were going on in my practice. So before I go further, I like to narrate it, and I strongly believe that doctor-patient relationship does have a positive or a negative outcome on any healthcare result. That is the most important thing which I would like to convey. The first story starts on a Friday morning. A couple comes with pain in the husband is pain in abdomen, and I order some liver function test. In the afternoon, the test comes positive that the liver functions are altered. I ask them if they can make it a point to do a sonography there and there. The Friday afternoon, the sonography is done. The sonologist is calling me that doctor, there is some mass in the liver, I can see, so we are dealing with some problem and we should go ahead with further investigations. Calling the doctor on a second, calling the patient on the second Saturday morning, taking the appointment, went for a CT scan. We could not do MRI because the patient had a pacemaker, we managing that. Evening, I am calling the patients to my home with the CT scan result, and I plainly told that we are dealing with a very serious and an important problem. And now the next step, we should see a hepatologist. So he charted out a program. After about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just went off. I was busy with my other things and all. And I realized that this patient hasn't called back. And when I am asking them, I called them, sometimes they said, we are calling you. Then the sun comes up that in these 3, 4, 5 days, they had gone and visited maybe 6, 7, 8 doctors, different doctors, asking these, that, etc. How did you take these appointments? He said, we Googled it, we took out the phone number, we called them, they obliged us. Then I said, it's fine. Then who is understanding? So patient's son is understanding from each and every doctor. How do you make out that what he is saying, what this is saying? Are you conveying to one person's opinion to another person? Is that? There was no answer. So how are you going to decide about your father's treatment? Ultimately, the long story cut short, that after 2 weeks, we came to some general conclusion and it was decided that we will start the treatment. The doctor said that we should do some blood tests before the treatment, and the liver function had doubled and we had to abandon the treatment. The patient is in a sorry state and we couldn't do. So it was one outcome. I don't want to go into the details of, because when I asked them, this doctor is my father's, our device, friends, something, the treatment was taken there, that's why we went to him, and so many other questions. I would not say that he was my 30-40 years patient, but still that went on because of, the young people, they go into this. At the same time, a second incident which was going side by side, a young couple, a friend couple, they underwent the health checkup program. The X-ray test showed something. We went to, immediately we did a CT scan followed by a PET scan, seen by a cancer surgeon or a chest surgeon. Operation was booked, 2-3 days the operation was done. Patient is fine, they will come home and everything is okay. I told the first patient story to the second patient because second patient is a good friend and I told him the story. He said, doctor, before deciding a doctor you may think 100 times, but once you decide somebody, then you should put total samarpan or total submission to that, and otherwise what is this point? So coming to that, I would just say that my first previous questions were there, that the unique relationship encompasses 4 key elements: knowledge, trust, loyalty and regard. The patient should have knowledge of doctor as well as the vice versa. His trust should involve that the doctor is capable enough, what is his competence, whether he is caring or not. The loyalty refers that patient should be able to forgive the doctor for his shortcoming or some inconvenience. That is, again, doctor should not abandon his patient. So both sides the relationship is there. And regard is that the patient should always feel that doctor is on my side. He is going to take care of me. And that much confidence the patient should have. So these elements practically constitutes the entire foundation of a good patient-doctor relationship. If I look at it, my practice, I started practicing in 82, 40 years of practice. Started, the doctor is God. Then slowly it came down, the doctor is friend, philosopher and guide. And now going is a professional and a client relationship. And practically in this decade, I would say we are healthcare provider, we are vendors, and the patient is a customer. So the entire process, you are governed by insurance companies, you are governed by pharmaceutical, you are governed by corporate hospitals, and the decision about doing a surgery in a particular place by a particular doctor depends on whether the cashless facility is available or not. If this is the status which we are dealing with now, so my mentor and the favorite doctor, Dr. Ugadia, used to say that medicine practice is art and science. The art is dead. The science has become commodity, and we are dealing and we are bartering the commodity here. So this story state. But I would never like to. I am always very positive about life, and life has given the doctor, medical life has given me a lot. Before I conclude, I would say that please don't worry about all these things. Extend your hand always, either to ask for help or to give help. There is we talk about Dr. Snehal, we might cover up more holistic medicine. We don't discuss about spirituality, religion, anything. We just believe there is a simple science law of conservation of energy. Whatever you give to this universe, it will remain there in some or the other form, and you will retrieve it back for you, which is ever going to come back. So give and take whenever it is needed.
And believe me, friends, when we come here, whenever you come to meetings, we don't come very often to, even though we don't even sometimes know who is the speaker. We come here because we want to meet friends. Right? Many of us are in Rotary for many years, from 35, 40 years of age, some of you are 70 years. And I'm sure many of us are more than 60 years. Sometimes you feel, did I have enough time to relax? The life was so fast. Ghalib once said, सुकून की बात मत करे गालिब, सुकून की बात मत करे गालिब, बचपन वाला इतवार अब नहीं आता. So very often that Sunday or even holiday, we have not given enough time to ourselves. And why Rotary is so important to us? Because we meet here and everybody is smiling. There is no grimace on the face, nobody is constipated. The look is always so good and nice. Somebody says, what do you think about, why you so much busy and still you run for Rotary? Emma also sometimes says, there is a different feeling. कुछ लम्हे गुजारे हैं हमने अपने दोस्तों के साथ, कुछ लम्हे गुजारे हैं मैंने अपने दोस्तों के साथ. लोग उसे वक्त कहते हैं, हम उसे जिंदगी कहते हैं. क्या बात. And so much richness was. You really feel कि कुछ रिश्तों में मुनाफा नहीं होता. None of us are related by blood, but still we are deeply related.
There is no string attached.
There is no string attached. इसीलिए कि कुछ रिश्तों में मुनाफा नहीं होता, पर वो जिंदगी को अमीर बना देते हैं. So that is why, friends, very often we say that come to meetings. It is not the speaker who makes it. This is beautiful break you have. Not taking very long time, we have an excellent speaker. The next speaker is Dr. Raksha, Mangaldas. Very senior and very dedicated person, dedicated to Rotary. Always helpful whenever you ask. Raksha is there to help you out. And above all, the better half. Better half, anything you agree, better half of PDG, better half of PDG meeting with us. Please welcome Dr. Raksha.
Dear Rotary friends, going more pertaining to my subject. So as per the topic in the pursuit of health, I will be talking about the oral cavity, which comprises of the gums and the teeth. So we have many branches, likewise the prosthetics, orthodontics, surgery, periodontics, restorative and radiology. So talking about the oral cavity, teeth, which allows us to enjoy the yummy food stuff, especially when the menu is set by Nisha. We all enjoy it. How is that done? Yes, by having a good strong set of teeth. So let us talk about the importance of having a good set. Nearly we are all 60 plus, 60 minus. So now it is mainly the maintenance part, so that repair work is done. Hence, I emphasize that regular dental checkups are a must. Now, modern dentistry is now much more comfortable compared to what it was long ago. It was very scary and painful. But with the introduction of the anesthetics like Novocaine, it changed. It was the beginning of the change. And now, come to the prosthetic part. In today's scenario, we cannot go toothless. We don't see dentulous persons anymore. And the dentures are hardly made. So mostly it is the bridges which are made to replace the missing teeth. The latest craze is the implants, which are made of titanium, which are embedded in the bone. And they are necessary when there is no support to place the bridges. No doubt implants are very expensive. But of course there are other options too. You can always do post-encore on broken teeth. But anyway, leave it up to the doctor. Whatever he finds suitable, he'll do. Bone augmentation is also getting popular. It is to beautify certain features of your jaws. But also, in order to place the implants, you require a thicker bone. Then going to orthodontics, which are used for setting the irregularly erupted teeth to align them in the proper arch. So the latest technology is by using the invisible braces, Invisalign. Now going to the surgery part, I will just give you tips about the recovery part. So recovery can be very, very smooth if certain precautions are taken. like not to disturb the clot, blood clot, which is very, very necessary. Use of the ice packs and taking a soft liquid diet, avoiding the carbonated or alcoholic drinks, and of course taking your doctor's painkillers and anti-inflammatories as advised. Then we come to periodontology, where care of the gums is very necessary. Spongy, swollen or bleeding gums, they are a big hazard. They are very dangerous because that can cause bacteremia, and that can be very dangerous for cardiac disease. In radiology, we have right now digital radiography. This is very helpful as it reduces the radiation exposure. Coming to restorative dentistry, we restore the decayed tooth structure. Mostly it is by composite, and this is done by, curing is done by LED or UV light. So in order, the setting time is reduced. And nowadays we get fluorescent detectors. They are applied on the tooth surface to detect the decayed portion of the structure of the tooth. So this also makes it in a way non-invasive. Now coming to the lighter side. I still remember patients, I started my practice 43 years ago. Patients would not believe a lady doctor doing extractions. And they would keep on asking me, oh, दूसरा doctor किधर है? दूसरा doctor किधर है? And then another case I remember, there was one patient whose cavities I had filled up all. Then when he got up from the chair, he saying, "Doctor, लेकिन आपने मुझे किया तो दिखाया ही नहीं. Where are they?" So was just not blessed. So now let me tell you one secret, friends. As Anil said, faith works wonders. Always have full faith and confidence in whatever treatment you are undergoing from the doctor. He will try to give you the best possible care. Positivity reflects positivity. That's it. And personally, let me tell you something. I always pray to Almighty before starting my clinic hours that let me give my best to my patients. And let not my diagnosis go wrong. My patient's satisfaction makes me feel very blessed. That's all. Enjoyed talking to you all, guys. God bless us all for healthy living. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. When we were medical students, so there were a few guys very close to me. Emma knows about them. So we used to ask them, what branch would you take for a post-graduation? She said, definitely either dentistry or dermatology, skin specialist. I said, why? There is no emergency at night. She said, I'm taking pediatric. Pediatric is worse, a lot of emergencies. And there are, and more than emergencies, is the anxiety of parents. रात को 2 बजे फोन आता है, सुनो डॉक्टर, कितना रोता है बच्चा, सुनो कितना रोता है, so they are trying to justify के फोन तो बराबर किया, तो बाद में मैं पूछना कि तकलीफ क्या है, तकलीफ तो कुछ मालूम नहीं, बच्चा बहुत रोता है, 4-6 महीने का बच्चा है, 4 महीने का बच्चा है, रोता बहुत है, ऐसे दवा लिख लोगी, तो बोलो. So I was in half sleep. I said, give February. He said, February? I said, February. February? I said, February. I said, तो ऐसा कर, गड़बड़ हो रही है, तो तू स्पेलिंग लिख ले उसका. तो अच्छा तो लिखता हूँ, तो लिखती हूँ तो बोलते, I said, F for father. इसका बाप नहीं रो रहा है, बच्चा रो रहा है. Telling you, F for father. So, after giving proper spelling of February, and I said, give 3/4 चम्मच दे दो. सर 3/4 चम्मच तो कहाँ से लाऊं मैं? वो 1 चम्मच का 3/4 भाग होता है, 3/4 चम्मच मिलता है मार्केट में. And after all this thing, and he said, ये दवाई सुबह लाऊंगी तो चलेगा? You have bugged me in night just telling. I said, ये सुबह क्यों? क्योंकि अभी आपके भैया सो रहे हैं, उसको है डिस्टर्ब करूँगा. Pediatrics guys. Pediatrics has always made me younger, better. I never get tired because I see wonderful children. Every meeting of Rotary, I feel, and particularly fellowship, makes me 10 years younger. You know, one thing I realized is, particularly during my residency year 2012-2013, that we all are intelligent people, and when we work together, there has to be some difference of opinion. And ideally, healthily, you should have a difference of opinion. I may not like particular situation, I may not like particular person. So whatever be, or rather than not liking person, that particular attitude of that person, I don't like. One of the best way to be a true road साथ नहीं चलते. रिश्ते कभी जिंदगी के साथ साथ नहीं चलते. रिश्ते एक बार बनते हैं, फिर जिंदगी रिश्तों के साथ साथ चलती है. क्या बात है? Our next speaker is senior radiologist, a man with very few words. He has always conserved his energy for the perfect sentences and perfect talk. But this guy has a very solid commitment, very trustworthy. Once you ask him to do a work, Dr. Yogesh Shah does it. So please welcome Dr. Yogesh Shah.
Good evening, friends. Thank you, Pankaj, for very kind words. Pankaj told me that you have to share some experiences from the wisdom you have acquired over the years. But I don't know whether we are wiser now or not. But I would like to share a few things and give a few suggestions. Okay. One thing is about when you go to a doctor, any doctor, your general practitioner or a consultant, you should be ready with your homework. You should not just walk in like that. But anytime you go to a lawyer or chartered accountant, I am sure you go with the full homework. Same way you should go to a doctor with the full homework. Now there are a few aspects about the homework. One thing is you should know what information you want to give to the doctor. You should give a history which is short and relevant. Okay, relevant is very important. Sometimes we see a patient walks in, we see he is a case of trauma, and when we ask what happened, and he will start with something like, last night I had a fight with my wife. So you start suspecting this is a medical legal case. But then he will say that no, because of that fight I could not sleep well at night. And then I went to bathroom and I slept in the bathroom. So now you have to be short and relevant. My wife was just performing her daily duty.
Nice one.
So your history should be short and that. Second thing, you should go with all the relevant reports. You should not just walk in without any reports and without anything. So you should be ready with all the reports, and preferably mentally you should have a summary of reports in your mind. You cannot go to a consultant and put a bunch of files in front of him. Doctor साहब मेरे 10 साल के report से आप देख लो. Now imagine, is it possible for a consultant to see it like that? It's not possible. And fortunately, most of the general practitioners, now they keep all the medical records of all the patients in their computer. So for them it is very easy. When a patient walks in, they know what to store and what not to. And the third aspect of this is you should be ready with what you want to know from the doctor, what questions you have to ask. Of course, not the Google questions, because you are not going to examine the doctor. And so you should be ready and ask all the possible questions and get the answers. I know of a friend of mine, we were partying at night, and at about 1:32 at night he gets a phone call from a patient. डॉक्टर साहब मैं आया था आपके पास, आपने डायरिया का दवाई तो दिया, लेकिन आपने ये तो बताया नहीं कि खाना क्या खाना है. Now, and my friend, he felt like telling him, मेरा सर खाओ, सर के अलावा कुछ भी मत खाओ. So you should be ready with that. Now I would like to tell you a few things about the Mediclaim or health insurance. Now there are so many changes which have come up in the last few years, and so I think I will just throw light on a few of the points. It's not possible, it's a vast subject, it's not possible to cover each and everything. One thing which has now come up is restoration of the sum insured. Now if your policy is of say 5 or 10 lakhs, and it has got this clause in your policy that your sum is restored. That means that suppose in one admission you have utilized your 5 or 10 lakhs, your policy amount is over. But now there is a second admission for some other disease, then that entire 5 or 10 lakh sum is restored. So effectively you are entitled to that not 5 or 10 lakhs but 20 lakhs of the sum insured. And you'll be surprised to know that some of the companies like United India Insurance, it charges how much you know for this restoration? It charges only 200 rupees extra to restore the sum insured. So whenever you renew the policy, you ask the agent. Unfortunately, most of the agents, no, they have not done their homework, so they don't give the full guidance. Second thing is the top-up and super top-up. These are the two words. Now top-up policy, of course, this you will get mainly when you are below the age of 60 or 65. After that, no top-up will be available. And there is something known as a super top-up. Now the difference between you should always opt for super top-up. Suppose there is some serious illness and your base policy is of say 5 lakhs and your top-up policy is of 50 lakhs. Now you use up say more than 5 lakhs in your admission, then your top-up policy will start from 5 lakh onwards. So that will be paid. Now in the top-up policy, the provision is like that if there is a second admission, again they will not give that first 5 lakh, which is the base amount. First you pay that 5 lakh and then it will start. Whereas the super top-up is such that in a given year, if you have utilized your 5 lakhs and started the top-up, then it will go on. So in the next admission, you will they will start paying from 0 onwards. They will not deduct that first 5 lakhs. So this is very important. One more thing about the top-up is you should, as far as possible, take the top-up of the same company as the base policy. Why? Because most of the hospitals, they will allow you to have cashless facility with only one company. If these companies are different, then the base policy, either you can opt to have cashless of the base policy or cashless of the top-up policy. Third thing is the cashless part of the policy. Now this is important that as far as possible you choose a hospital, if possible, where your cashless facility is available. And most of the time you will, when you go for reimbursement, the tendency of the TPA is to deduct the charges wherever possible. Because their attitude is that let us deduct now. If the person keeps on fighting, then what is the worst thing? We will have to give it. But out of 10, only 2 are going to fight for it, and the rest are going to just forget it. So this is their policy. Second thing about the cashless is, the TPAs and the hospitals, they have the tie-up. So if your room rent is say 10,000, the MRP or the rate by the hospital tariff rate is 10,000, but the insurance company will have a tie-up with the hospital, so they are going to pay the hospitals only 6 or 7,000. So your billing will also change, and accordingly the other charges may also change. So that is also important. And then one more thing, earlier all the companies, they were allowing only the room at the rate of 1% of the sum insured. But now most of the companies have changed this, and all the policies which are above 5 lakhs, they allow the single AC room in the hospital. It may cost 10 lakhs, 10,000, 12,000, whatever amount. So that change has come. One more change which has come, which was already existing earlier, is the co-pay. Many policies, they will have the term like co-pay, which may be 10, 20 or 30%. So some of the people, they are not aware about this, and only when the claim comes, they realize that there is a clause like this, that we have to co-pay. And here also one change which has come. Earlier, most of the companies, they had the provision like this, that all senior citizens above the age of 60, they have to pay 10 or 20% co-pay. But now a change has come, where now they are allowing all those who have started the policy below the age of 60, and the claim happens after the age of 60, then that co-pay doesn't apply. This is a major change. Again, most of the agents, they do not know about it. One more thing is the age. So all those, there are a lot of changes which come up. All the advantages of the policies are available below the age of 60. So all those who are below 60, I'll request them that do a thorough homework and choose a policy which is the best for them in the future. Because after the age of 60, 65 and 70, after 70, I think practically no policies are available. And if you are above 65 also, you don't have the top-up policy, so you have to go for a bigger amount base policy. Ask you to go for checkup. Then there are some of the companies which don't ask you to go for checkups. This is particularly after the age of 60. And here you have to be careful about the companies which ask for the checkup. Because when they ask for the checkup, then they will load your premium by 10, 20 or 30%, depending upon what they find from the history, from the results of the investigations. There are so many other aspects, but I think...
Thank you. There is an offer for all the senior citizens. If you do not have enough policy cover, the new company, YBS Insurance Company, Yogesh Shah Insurance Company. So please contact the CEO, he is fortunately here, and get your insurance done.
One more thing, Pankaj, I wanted to inform all those who are young, even if they don't opt for the base policy, they should at least take up the top-up policy. A top-up policy of 50 lakhs starting from from 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs will cost something like 1,500 or 2,000 only.
Thank you. You know, it's radiologist talking so much about the insurance. Amazing, no? But I had a different experience of radiologist once, Yogesh. I had gone to see Dr. Suren Kothari, my friend, Mina's clinic, and then he said, देखो, when patient was ready for X-ray, बोलेगा तभी सांस लेगा, सांस लो, और जब भी बोलेगा सांस छोड़ो, तो सांस छोड़ो. देखो अभी एक बार ट्राई करें, सांस लो, नीचे, सांस छोड़ो, सांस लो, सांस छोड़ो. कभी एक्शन निकालता हुआ तो वो एक्शन करे, सांस लो, एक्शन लिया, जो फोन मिला, स्टूडेंट से जाओ, आफ्टर सम टाइम द फेलो कॉलेज छोड़ा ही नहीं, छोड़ा बोला ही नहीं उसने। In medicine it happens was, I was swimming in a BCA swimming pool. तो बेसिकली स्विमिंग करा था तो एक दो चार फैमिली, डॉक्टर साहब, you know the wife particularly, wife, हाँ, children, so he said, सुनो, डॉक्टर साहब अपने, then he said, तुझे एक तेरा भारी है ना सबको मिल रहा है आपसे, so I went outside, so both the children, come, अभी आ जाओ, husband ही आ जाओ क्या, दीदी का बोला आपको, the husband came up. Then everybody standing in front of me, and he's saying, "ये डॉक्टर साहब बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको इस यहाँ मिलके." Then he said, "ये बच्चे तो आप जानते हैं आपकी मेहरबानी से, but ये बार-बार नहीं मिलते तुमको, because husband doesn't come, ये बार-बार नहीं मिलते." And then she kept on looking like this, me from top to bottom. डॉक्टर साहब सच्ची बताऊं, आपको इस तरह पहले कभी नहीं देखा। तो फॉर अ मोमेंट आई चेक माय क्वेश्चन, सारी गिर तो नहीं रहा। Guys, this why these meetings like this are pit stops for us. You know how a racing car stops at pit stops to get repaired, to get rejuvenated. Even if you are first in competition, and still you stop at pit stop. And this is a pit stop. It helps because many of us have forgotten to relax. When we go to for 4 or 5 days holiday to Mahabaleshwar, while going you are frustrated because the traffic is too much, the roads are very bad. While coming back, you are worried about this alatu ka magi regiona, so many things. And in the Mahabaleshwar fight is क्या करना यार, कुछ काम नहीं, इधर क्या करना, like a lion moving in a cage. So we have completely forgotten the art of relaxation. In fact, this is very important to break because such meeting, I think every moment makes you 10 years younger, isn't it? And believe me, you enjoy this moment. Somebody very nicely said कि हर पल में प्यार है और हर लम्हे में खुशी है। हर पल में प्यार है, हर लम्हे में खुशी है। खो दो तो यादें हैं, जी लो तो जिंदगी है। So guys, we have to live this life enjoying every moment like this. Next speaker is Dr. Kamlesh, Shah, very senior practitioner. As long as I know him, I will describe him like a coconut. Why coconut? Because he looks very hard from inside, very soft and very sweet from inside. So please welcome Dr. Kamlesh, Shah.
Thank you, Pankaj. I told you in the phone also that I am not accustomed to speaking and coming live, right? I like to be a troubleshooter staying in the background. Anyway, so it has been a long journey. During my latest quarantine, which has become a professor result, I was going through the all papers and everything, and I filled out a old invitation card of opening of my clinic. So God willing, on 30th January 2023, I'll be completing 40 years in the practice. It has been a long journey. Being the only son from a business family, my father wanted me to join his factory, but being the born rebel, and I was fascinated by doctors. Our family doctor was the first model, then son, and somehow, that being educated in one of the best institutes with a campus life to die for. So that built up the early years of my practice. And two ends, medicine and music, have been my passions all my life. It taught me conscience, ethics, honesty and hard work. And I feel that These four are the pillars in patient care. I was speaking mostly on GP because I am a GP. In fact, I wanted to be a consultant, but circumstances forced me to become a GP, and by grace of God, absolutely I have not regret some of it. From being a jack of all to master of none, GPS evolved into a separate specialty in itself. And GP must have a detailed knowledge, not only of all the branches of medicine, but all the latest developments. And that can be done only by attending CMEs and conferences regularly. We were not taught that. With the patients representing the new-rich studio intellectual to the brilliantly talented young generation, brilliantly educated, representing the young India, you have to fill up many queries, and without this, you can't do it. And you have to live up to a patient's expectations. So what do a doctor expects from a patient when he visits his clinic? First thing, when you are visiting your doctor for the first time, whoever it is, you must take all your reports. But you must take all your reports at your first visit and not at every visit. Once they are in our system, in our computer, in our case paper, just within a glance, in 2 minutes you come to know what is going on. And I tell the patients, please tell me your symptoms, not your diagnosis. They walk in, viral हुआ है देखो ना other patient will come, tonsil खराब हो गया, गले में दुखता है. I just let me decide, let me see what it is. So it works out, and people with little lesser patients, it is a little difficult to digest. And coming up this throat thing, a very hilarious incident in my early practice. A young couple, recently married, coming from a very orthodox family, at around 9:30, 10, walking in my individual clinic. High fever that lady was having, severe throat pain, and and she had a gunta right up to it. I made them check, took out the gun, the pressure, torch and everything. बोला gunta ऊपर करो, असल नहीं करेगी. तो मैं कैसा देखेगा? You to show me. Then with great reductions, they took it up to that. I put the gun in the back tonsils, full of follicles and infection and everything. So I told the injection, they lied down. Then before I just told her, let us loosen your petticoat. Before I finished the sentence, before I finished, she said, lift up the whole side. I was never guessed, and I told that person, कि गला दिखाने को ऐसा होता है. I was in the clinic, outside I would have said that. So these are the. Now with the advent of COVID, the GPS come back into the reckoning. Of late, because of super specialization, nuclear families, the importance of GP has lessened. But good old GP has again come back to relevance when in COVID times, all the doctors have worked seriously. Most of them have been infected once or twice after taking 3 vaccines, but then also they work bravely. And now the patient will realize that GP is an integral part of the medical care. This COVID has been a blessing as well as because WhatsApp and all teleconsultation are a blessing. Now they have become a nightmare. When a patient comes to me with lots of WhatsApp reports and all, it is really difficult to accept. So I generally tell them bring a printout and because to go to, by the time you scroll down from the last report, the first report you have forgotten. You have to read everything. So this and other thing is, patients I have unrealistic expectations from the doctor. They give undue credit and undue discredit. If a patient becomes well from a very serious illness, it is not only the doctor, it is a blessing from above which also helps. I firmly believe that. Other things which I expect from patients, demanding certificates. It is very embarrassing when a patient comes for a certificate. I have got a 4K and all that. Of course, for me it is strict no. And death certificates. Again, to an unknown person to give a death certificate, sometimes it's quite difficult. We all have had experience. If you don't go for a doctor's for a house visit and can just do a daily consistent walking to his clinic, especially in the night 2 p.m. When I started the practice, at least once in 15 days, 2 in the night, I used to go to our house all the way. And now, after explaining the business, they understand if they go to a casualty or emergency room, they get a much superior treatment. And if I told them they want their doctor, he can always visit the emergency room at that time. Other thing I wanted to stress what I was hearing my practice is this COVID vaccination. Though it has been fantastic in our country, but somehow I see a lack of vaccination of booster dose. Please, I request everybody, and I tell to all, it is our responsibility to tell to all the patients that you must take the booster dose. Why? Agree that some patients had complications, some patients had get married, some had this, some had that. But the booster dose, the latest studies have shown that even the PE and other variants of Omicron, if you take a booster dose, the complications are less. It will not reach your lungs, it will not land in ICU, it will not be on a ventilator most of the times. One popular Ayurvedic Vedacharya had brought out a medicine for corona. So many things, nonsense, Ayurvedic, homeopathy has its place, I tell them. But you cannot cure lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. By applying oil on your chest, you cannot get out of the blockages. So this is the one thing. Other thing is a medical reason. I have got very strong views on that. If I have done a mistake, if I sit with the patient, admit my mistake, explain in the circumstances, believe me, no person will see your doctor. It is just a doctor playing the God, playing high and mighty. That is the reason for most of the medical legal cases. Because in art, all the patients, they trust their doctors, they treat them as God. They will never file a suit unless it is some extreme negligence or something like that. And there is about the general practice, medical legal thing. I think there is enough for today.
Thank you. This death certificate reminds me of incidents. There was a colleague of mine who was very, very super confident. People said that nobody can be like Dr. Savadekar. His diagnosis and everything is so perfect. I am talking of this 73, 74. So we didn't have mobile. Our calls used to come in a call book. And so one day at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, Savadekar gets a call from a pediatric ward. One patient is serious and gasping. Now normally, sisters cannot write down the patient is dead because it is to be certified by doctors. So, he ran to the thing, he examined the patient and he found the patient was dead. So he filled up death certificate and came back. So by the time he came back to the room, it was around 4:30. Usually we go for a round at 6 o'clock. He was staring outside the lobby in the mirror. Then what was it? Savadekar kidhar hai? Savadekar sahab, idhar. Very confident man, doing staring like this. Sir, वो certificate आपने बनाना, तो very often you forget to write your registration number. Registration number लिखना भूल गए क्या? नहीं सर, वो बच्चा हाथ हिलाता है. Super confident Savadekar sir, तुम जाओ, धीरे-धीरे सब बंद हो जाएगा. A super confident doctor can be. So guys, all of us are above 50 definitely, and I think above 60 I will call them a senior citizen. And of course, age does not. Many of us are still very, very young. Age is a matter of mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. उम्र समझती है कि अब जिंदगी की शाम हो गई. उम्र समझती है कि अब जिंदगी की शाम हो गई, और दिल कहता है कि महफिल तो शाम से ही शुरू होती है. So guys, it's very important to keep chronological age, increase it with your birthday every year. Your biological age depends on your physical fitness, and psychological age, I would call it a spiritual age. Now, biological age and spiritual age entirely depends on your habits and attitude. If you are fit physically, mentally not, if the moment, the day you feel you are old. So keep yourself fit physically, mentally, and nothing will happen. Pet naram, pav garam. And eat less, walk properly. Pet naram, pav garam, सर को रखो ठंडा, keep cool. फिर भी आए डॉक्टर घर में तो मारो उसको डंडा. So if you keep all the age, not the biological, chronological, but biological age and the psychological age is in your hand. We have a wonderful, very experienced doctor, Dr. Sarita Bhalerao, obstetrician and a gynecologist, very cool. But believe me, my personal experience, very competent. The doctor who doesn't shout on an operation table and keeps cool, I really consider that doctor as really cool doctor. Please welcome Dr. Sarita Bhalerao.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me thank Dr. Rotary and Dr. Pankaj for inviting me to participate in this program. So, Jawaharlal Nehru said, you can tell the condition of a nation by looking at the status of its women. So, I thought that I will focus on women's health and the challenges that we are facing in women's health and the new developments. Let me start with young girls, and really today we are facing this epidemic of PCOS. And we have patients who come and sit in the clinic, I have PCOS. What is PCOS? This PCOS is caused by sedentary lifestyle, eating junk food, lack of exercise, obesity, and really it has hit this generation in a very big way and has long-term implications for their fertility, diabetes and cancer risks. So it's very important that we are all aware, we have daughters, so it's very important. Then we have the older women and we have the problem of fertility in older women. And so many women come and say, Doctor, now I'm not ready. Now my brother's getting married, then I'm going to Europe, then my promotion will be there, then I will have the child. I'll be able to have, no? How do you know they'll be able to have? How can we predict? No? So women and their careers, marrying late, postponing pregnancies, all these problems are really a big challenge. And we know that women's fertility declines with age, and many women at a later age require assisted reproduction. Fortunately, today we have the advent of egg freezing, where they can freeze their eggs and have their babies later. But even that is not 100% successful. Then we come to the perimenopausal woman, where really health prevention, cancer prevention is very important. Mammographies, pap smears, sonographies are must for women above 45. Regular health checkups will detect cancer at a stage where it is almost 100% curable. So it's very important. Supplementation with calcium, supplementation with vitamin D will prevent osteoporosis, and regular exercise for weight management and preventing cardiac problems. I urge all women to look after their health. It requires time, energy, yes, even finance, but the benefits are tremendous and long-lasting. And I urge all men to encourage their wives, their mothers and their daughters to have regular checkups and look after themselves. What are the new developments in my field? One of the new developments is the vaccines. We have a cervical cancer vaccine now. This is the first vaccine for cancer prevention, and it prevents human papillomavirus infection which causes cervical cancer. It is to be given to young girls before they are sexually active for the best protection. Michelle Obama said, communities, countries, and ultimately the world are only as strong as the health of their women. On a personal front, I'd like to just talk a little about my personal experience as a gynecologist. My mother is a gynecologist, and when I was growing up, I did resent the fact that she was so busy. A few years later, I began to admire her, and soon after, slowly I realized that I wanted to be like her. My profession is very demanding, and I was fortunate to get a husband like Abhay and the Bhalerao family, who looked after home, looked after children beautifully, allowed me to go to England for 6 months on my own, and gave me full freedom to work and pursue my career. And this reminds me that my father-in-law, he had a ward boy, and he said, this ward boy, in the night, if you go on a night call, you have to take this ward boy with you. So I said, this is ridiculous. But he said, no, you will not go. So once at 4 in the morning, we are at Soho Central, I'm driving the car, the ward boy is in the back, and the police catch us. Madam, aap kidhar ja rahe ho? I said, मैं hospital में जा रही हूँ. और ये कौन है? ऐसे ये मेरा बॉडीगार्ड है। तो आप ड्राइव करते हो, वो पीछे बैठा है, ऐसे उसको ड्राइविंग किधर करता है? मैं ड्राइव कर रही हूँ। So they were looking, then finally, okay, they let me go. Then we went to the hospital and the pediatrician came running after the OT. Sarita, there's a man in your car. He's sleeping in your car behind. Don't worry. This is Dr. Bhalerao. He has made sure that I take this man with me wherever I go in the night. So finally I say your health is an investment, not an expense. Just as we start a systematic investment program for our plan, for our retirement, we have to put aside some time for our health when we are young so that we will enjoy the benefits at a later stage. Thank you.
Sarita talking, that reminds me of incidents of Dr. Shirodkar. Dr. Shirodkar was a very popular gynecologist, right? So Gangubai went with his daughter-in-law and के डॉक्टर साहब ओळखला की नाही मला? Dr. Shirodkar sees so many patients. The patients feel very intimate to Shirodkar. का कसा मुले आले तुम्ही? तर की माझी सून जरा चेक करून घ्या. तर Dr. Shirodkar gave a position and she felt very hurt. Dr. Shirodkar did not recognize her. For years she has been coming with all her family to Dr. Shirodkar. So Dr. Shirodkar examined, gave a position and examined the speculum and he said, sir, the time is तुम्हारे अपन check करूँ क्या नहीं? Then Gangubai he gave position to Gangubai and put his speculum. Oh Gangubai, but this is how the cardinal can recognize a patient. Friends, this laughter makes us so light. I realized the value of stress when I underwent bypass in 2008. And then I was analyzing those days. Then I found a simple mathematical formula for stress. What is stress? Stress is pressure upon resilience. What is resilience? Resilience is your inner strength. So in a short, is pressure upon inner strength. Pressure is what? Your anxiety, your expectations not getting fulfilled. You are running short of time. Some problem in family with the friends and all those are stress. And resilience is your response, your inner strength. Your response, it is your thoughts, your feelings. Right? Simplify, if you would say, the stress is situation divided by your response. Situations are not in your hand. So numerator cannot be changed. But denominator is in your hand. So if you change your response, you are definitely much more relaxed. J. Krishnamurti, a philosopher, once said, okay, my mind is a garden. My thoughts are seeds. My harvest will be either flowers or weeds. So you decide, जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती. जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती, उसे आसान बनानी पड़ती है. कुछ अपने अंदाज से, कुछ नजरअंदाज से. So we have our next speaker, philosophically very good, very experienced and very seasoned physician and cardiologist. He is a wonderful clinician at the same time. He is spiritually very well motivated and spends good time with himself. It's something nice to know. I present Dr. Snehal. Please welcome.
Last batsman, and when Parekh is moderating, I had some fears that couple of shairi or jokes he will tell, and he did it. He did it. But anyway, still I'll try to do the best. See, the topic is in a pursuit of health. Pursuit means what action you want to do, what effort you want to do, and for what health. Great topic that what we will do to get a good health. Now health again we all think means that masculine body, lot of hairs, which I always envy. and the what we call like the Arjun Kumar and newer all the people going into the gym and lifting up the weight, or the females with the 36, 24, 36 body. No. Health means the complete well-being, mental, physical and social of a person. Just not the absence of any infirmity or any illness. I repeat, the total well-being, mentally, physically and the social. Now, for example, we are all sitting here and we are thinking something and you are not at the ease. That means you are at dis-ease. That means you are not fit, you are not now good, you are not alright. So I am going to talk about the mental health. And as he said about the stress, I am going to say that how to increase the happiness hormones in our body. They are just with us. You don't have to go to find out anywhere. And I am not talking of testosterone, I am not talking of estrogens, but the 4 happy hormones. They are with us, we can increase it, we can utilize it, and we can just be very happy from internal, from within, and great things how we can do. So there are 4 hormones. One is serotonin, second is oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. I'm sure you all must have heard this for 4 hormones. But sometimes we know about these hormones, but what is one doing? Each one has its own function. For example, the first hormone, I would say serotonin. Now, serotonin is called mood stabilizer. And it decreases the worries, it decreases the fatigue, it gives you feeling of well-being, memory increases, learning increases. I'm sure if you do all the techniques to increase these 4 hormones, so many problems will be solved and you will be continuously happy, smiling, etc. etc. So, the boost or the hacking of this particular serotonin is done by meditation, exercises, mainly swimming, cycling, running. You know, you have seen it, Lal Singh Chaddha, the guy is just running for some 200 days to forget the Karina. I will not run a single minute to forget the Karina, I am surprised, whatever it is. So, the running in the limit, meditation, exercise, walking in the nature, just be in the nature, just enjoy sunlight in the morning. All this vitamin D has come now, but it itself gives you so much of mood elevation. Just be in the nature. Prayers. Prayers are very important. मिल जाता है पल 2 पल का सुकून, बंद आंखों से अपनी बंदगी में. मिल जाता है पल 2 पल का सुकून, बंद आंखों से अपनी बंदगी में, वरना बहुत परेशान है सभी अपनी अपनी जिंदगी में. But prayers when you do, I'll tell you, is nothing like that. You directly connect with the God, or you directly connect with some supreme power, and you get a lot of energy. The serotonin and all the concepts have come now, but in our religious thing or Vedas or Upanishad, it is written that prayers are the part of everyone's life. So one is S serotonin. Next hormone is oxytocin. Now oxytocin is called love hormone. Love hormone because it is secreted amply by holding, by hugging, by holding the hands and also connecting with each other. And then wherever we come here or whenever you connect to the people, you can connect to the friends, you can connect to some unknown. We doctors get a lot of chance to connect to people. So connecting, holding, hugging, playing with the baby, not with the mothers. Pediatricians playing with the baby, playing with the pets is very, very helpful in women's life. Sarita would know that oxytocin is a very important role in their play. Why? Because the tender touch and that appreciation of give you compliments, there is a lot of flow of the oxytocin in their body. So I'm giving you a tip, maybe now 60 plus, little late, but a tender touch and giving compliments and appreciating will make the woman in particular very, very happy. They also get a lot of oxytocin secretion when they do the breastfeeding, when they have a tender touch of the child. And you know, women, life and the earth, these 3 things are such that whatever you give them, they will give back to you multiplied 10 times. Suppose you give them love, they will love you back 10 times. If you give anger, all of us know what anger is. You don't have to say. And I am talking in certain cases women, but actually wife. So we have to love women, wife in bracket. We have to love life because you must important. If you don't love life, and as he said, you're just complaining, then no happy hormones will be there. You love life. Life is great. Zindagi is great. Zindagi to maja karne ke liye. Zindagi is fun. No problem. You know that kind of positive attitude you have. And Earth, Mother Earth, we are all torturing. We are insulting. We are damaging, and that's why so many natural problems are coming, cyclones are coming, the green effect and blue effect and all oxygenation gone and environment, and we are blaming the earth, but it is because we are doing this. So we should really do this, it will ultimately very healthy for us. रिश्ते जब मजबूत होते हैं, बिन कहे ही महसूस होते हैं. You know that when you shake hands with somebody, we have felt how much energy, how much love, how much affection, and viewers also. Sala hath pakde to lage hath mind has come. You is so angry. You realize that he is not mom. So holding hands with love, affection. So this is the thing where again the oxytocin will be secreted. But some people hold hands for too long. That is also not. And it's just holding hands, no massage. Right. So this is the next hormone, oxytocin, comes dopamine. So very simple, oxytocin all of us can get anytime, anywhere, it's very simple. Dopamine is a reward hormone. What happens is when you accomplish something, when you achieve something, you finish some task, you celebrate, life to celebrate every day. You be nice and good to anybody. You just say thank you to liftman. When you just come up to say, hi watchman, how are you? So doing all these small gestures, achievements, accomplishments in the life, certain pleasurable activities, that singing, listening to a nice music, aromatic, essential oil massage also releases lot of dopamine, but not in the Bangkok. You must remember that. So massage is good, so don't go with the wrong information, the wrong ideas. And I'll just give you about this accomplishment and achievement. Purna, our immediate past president, that day by day, every month in the last year, so many things and projects she has been doing, and there was a glow, absolutely glow. There was no light required if she's around. And the smile, look at her body language, and greatest was the iconic photographs. The iconic photographs they love, and all the pictures have been iconic. So the dopamine, we all can do small things and generate dopamine in ourselves. The oxytocin we can have. Now come to a last hormone, and there is endorphin. They are also very important chemicals. They are painkillers. When people are running and doing exercise, these endorphins are released to kill the pain, to reduce the pain. You don't feel the pain. But you do something like laughing. Do laughing, absolutely laughter. Be humorous. So many doctors and people are like that. When you meet them, you realize that as if he has taken 3-4 tablets of laxative, there is no restroom around, and he's worried and he's confused. For no reason, you just see in the list. It's like that. Some patients also come like that. Some doctor also about that. Kabhi se ho gaya? You will think you're going to die. So the thing is that you should be humor. And I tell you, me and Pankaj, Parekh and Mahesh, we used to laugh for small things. No great jokes, nothing. So in life, the small pleasures, small humorousness, don't be very serious. I remember that there is one condition where you take anti-med and you become like this, you do that. It is called extra-pyramidal reaction. I went to see somebody beginning my practice. I still remember that. And that fellow had taken that particular tablet, stimulant. Father is a big man, businessman, understand, is telling me, this, that one, that one. I go. And I realized this is a stimulant reaction. I started laughing so much. And I went behind the curtain. I said, I want to go to the bathroom. The whole prakash was there. You must have also seen so many patients, they get, So sometimes etiquette, but the humor is very very important. उनको देखने से मुंह पर आ जाती है रौनक, तभी यानी वो समझते हैं कि मरीज का हाल अच्छा है. बहुत से डॉक्टर ऐसे होते हैं, when you go to them, the patients start laughing and smiling. Particularly Pankaj patients are young, very young, so mother start laughing, but somebody laughs. Now, again, you know, Anil, Mehta, when I was just talking to this, all these 3-4 things, he said, most important thing to have not told, sex. Sex also increases and relaxes lot of endorphins, but legitimate sex. Otherwise, I remember in same Rotary platform, there were lecture about the EMR, not emergency medical room, extramarital relation. Pankaj was talking for, and I was talking against that because as a cardiologist, I tell you, when you have an illegitimate thing, छुपा के करने में इतना adrenaline, noradrenaline waste होता है that you become a candidate for heart. So I say, sex is very very important. Food is very important. Apples and asparagus and avocados and broccolis and blueberries and so many different kinds of food. Really you have to remember and eat this thing. Don't become crazy like young generation, oh no this that. But still, when you get a chance, you must take such food which are very good. Besides the aphrodisiac, some of us must be taking, I'm sure. And one or two sides he said, but I'll tell you one, it is never too late. All of us are here, whatever age, age is just in the mind, you should be young at heart and जिंदगी में प्रॉब्लम तो होता ही, जिंदगी सही नहीं होती, इन्हें सही बनानी पड़े छे, खुशी मिजाज, जिंदगी અને હૃદયમાં પ્રેમ, થોડો પોતાનો અંદાજ અને થોડું નજર અંદાજ, આ પાંચ વસ્તુ when you collect it, you have no problem. Your life becomes very very easy, becomes very easy. Sorry, my people will not understand without in particular this thing, but the idea is that we live the life very freely. Now when I was just writing this, I tell you, I've given a small leaflet. Everything is possible in Rotary. All the things which I told you, appreciation, then having friendship, accomplishment, achievement, socialization, I'll tell you, I just tell heads off that we all are here, we need not go anywhere else, and lot of endorphins, all good hormones will be continuously secreted here. Same thing Pankaj said, that we must walk, we must laugh, age is no bar. And one example I will give you. Pankaj Parekh, in the last few years, look at his enthusiasm, look at his energy. Even after bypass in 2008, the first thing when he became conscious, he winked at a beautiful anesthetist and nurse. I was thinking just outside class. So this is the low age, and then subsequently every year has become young. Last, I will do a prarthana for everybody. Sarva bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kashtida dukha bhagyaveta. I feel that we all should be positive, whole world becomes very happy, sabka acha ho, sabka kalyan ho, and everybody will be very healthy, and you don't have to do any extra effort. And my doctor friends, I just say, we all doctors should be sure we are all doing this. And last thing I would say, किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे वो निशान, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है.
There is just one more minute for conclusion. I like the idea of EMR.
Emergency medical.
No, extramarital relations. So the Saturday evening, I get a phone call. My बच्चों is not well, and मैं बच्चों की अरे इधर बोल जो बच्चों की तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, मगर कल तो संडे है, आप चालू हैं? The moment I waited, I said, कल संडे को मैं चालू नहीं होता हूँ. The voice was very sweet and she said, अगर आप चालू हैं तो मुझे आना था. I like that. ऐसे अगर आपको आना है तो मैं चालू हूँ. It works both the way. Guys, just to conclude, only one message. Please spend time with yourself. Keep on laughing like this. Don't keep on running. Have goals. तमन्नाओं से भर इस जिंदगी में हम सिर्फ भाग रहे हैं. तमन्नाओं से भर इस जिंदगी में हम सिर्फ भाग रहे हैं. कुछ रफ्तार धीमी करो. कुछ रफ्तार धीमी करो. कुछ रफ्तार धीमी करो मेरे दोस्त और जिंदगी को जियो. खूब जियो मेरे दोस्त. Guys, thank you.